Hello, everyone, and welcome back again to the Black Rose Society, a game of swashbuckling action, suspenseful intrigue, and actual sweet love stories. Don't worry, we'll get Demetrius and Verity back up to their stuff, all set in the world of 7th My name is Dan McCurdy. I'll be your storyteller this evening. You can find me at RevDMC247 on TikTok, YouTube, Blue Sky, and if you find me anywhere else, all I can say is that I was young and I needed the money, and I will now kick it on to allow players to introduce themselves, starting with Chandler.
Hello, my name is Chandler, and today I will be playing Arnau Cecero, seducer of non-human creatures.
Hi everybody, I'm Ryan. I go by Darth Caustic on all socials, and I'm playing Asgeir Ironhand, and you only get me from the waist up because feet don't come for free.
Okay, this is going to be a horny episode today. I see what we're doing.
I'm just following my storyteller. I don't know what to do.
All right, wow. Yeah, I've never wondered until now. You know, so it's like, well, what does Demetrius got to do to see some Asgeir toes? Anyway, I am Eric Bell Comedy on all the socials. I play Demetrius Penn, the swashbuckling mercenary and hopeless romantic, apparently. And I bring it down to Mouse.
Hello, I am Rage Mouse on the Things That Matter, and I play Verity Laurys Victoire-Couteau, duelist and courtier, and she has immaculate feet.
And the moment she can breathe again, Kelsey.
I'm Matt, Farm Grown Nerd, and I can't with you fucks. Let's get started with it.
All right. In our previous episode, we had some short vignettes showing what the crew was getting up to, those who we had available around Montaigne. But now we're moving forward, having discovered yet another, having known the existence of a star map and confirmed it to be very similar to the one that was found under Carleon. The group has planned that the next set of labyrinths that they have discovered that they are going to investigate are actually in Eisen. In fact, underneath the Castle von Richter, the ancestral home of Nikoletta von Richter. They took some time to plan their journey and decided that the way they were going to go was that they were going to take, all of a sudden I'm blanking on the name of the boat, the Starlight Dawn? Starlight Breeze. Sunlight Breeze? What was the name of the boat? It's a great name.
The
Dawnlight Breeze.
Dawnlight Breeze.
I took notes.
At editing me, go ahead and make that look a lot more knowledgeable than it currently is. To take the Dawnlight Breeze north through the maw between Eisen and Vestum and Nalvinjarn to the city of Posen, from which they would take river transport all the way to the city of Freiburg, and then be able to travel overland to the Castle von Richter. A very circuitous route, but one that takes them away from Vatacine Island, which was, for some reason, very, very, very important to Arnau, and and also did not involve a whole lot of land travel through Eisen, though taking a ship registered in the name of the group did offer some potential if they were being tracked, but that was determined to be a risk worth taking. So now, some time has passed, and the group is back in the city of, apparently I'm just forgetting all of the names today, the city of Muguet. Not very long after arriving, the Dawnlight Breeze has returned from a little trade trip that it was doing around raising a little bit of money. For those who care and keep track of that sort of things, the ship now has a wealth rating of 1, meaning it has done some trading and is capable of doing some trading on its own, thanks to some investments that are now got started on it so that the ship would have some ability. It has delivered Verity's brother, Mael, to Carleon, along with his bodyguard, who shall for this moment go unnamed. and you all are all in this port city, and the ship is ready to go. As you walk up, Bob is standing at the top of the gangplank and greets you all. Oh, the heroes return. Your ship is prepared. And he kind of walks down and walks up to Asgeir, shaking his hand. Captain, good to have you back.
Good work. I'm glad to see her back in one piece.
And you'll notice, and he points over, and you actually see a very fetchingly done name painted on the side. Sometimes it's just block letters, but someone put in some calligraphy into this shit. Like, it's looking very, very stylized and drawn out. And he looks and goes, so you all are walking up with intention. I'm guessing you all have a port of call in mind.
You're going to love it.
Yes.
The fact that you have to tell me that makes me uncertain.
Have you ever been to Posen?
Posen, North Eisen. It's a good port. You can get some pretty good prices there because you have to be a little bit crazy to go.
Good. We're a little bit crazy.
I figured as much. You rescued me from an exploding island, so...
Yes, Adizave. Nikoletta goes and she's checking all the wine barrels.
Actually, there are no wine barrels. There is some rum. There's stuff like that, but no wine currently stored. Nothing. They didn't purchase any Avalonian wine.
Be there any barrels for drinking? It is getting inspected.
All seem to be sealed. None. Well, actually, hang on. Since your notice is what again?
My notice is a 2. I was just saying that as an aside. You don't have to address me right now. I'm just saying what Nikoletta's doing while everybody's having this conversation.
Going down with a notice of 2, you will be, because this isn't really rolling a risk. You either see it or you don't. And with a 2, you do. Because you don't have you don't have to be like hurried about it. And you go around and everything does seem to be sealed. How thorough is she being? Is she like tasting every barrel, or is she like? Is she looking if the seals are intact, or is she?
She's looking to see if the seals are intact. Yeah.
All of the seals seem to be intact, with the exception of one rum barrel that the crew was apparently drinking from on the journey back over, and a quick sniff and taste, if you want, confirms it's just not very good rum.
Cool.
What the crew bought for themselves.
That's what she's doing at the moment, then, for however long that
Okay.
takes.
Demetrius like, you brought no wine back.
And Bob looks over and is like, what Avalonian wine would be worth buying?
I don't know. This probably moonshine or something that
We brought the rum.
See, they brought the important things.
I mean, there is no Avalonian wine worth buying. That's why we stick another sticker on it and sell it to some sucker in Montaigne.
And he looks at you and is like, I know, I'm Avalonian. I know what we're not good at. And wine is on that list.
It's vary your palate, my friends.
Did you book a fare back? Did anyone use you to get back here?
No fares, but we did get some cargo that was coming across the strait, and so we were able to put aside a little bit of coin. How quickly are you all wanting to travel? If you have time for us to do some trade, we could certainly do that. There's always Posen is always buying, and so we can fill up. Probably in a day or two. If you need to leave now, we can, because there's always room to buy there. And, I mean, there's certain things that are always available to buy and fairly easy to move. So,
Nikoletta, where did she go?
I think I saw mine down below.
She comes like stomping back up. All right, the wine is the rum is fine. Everything else is what? What did I do?
What sort of things do your people need most?
In Ison?
Yes.
She stops
Weapons?
and thinks about it for a minute. Well, weapons, yes. Grain sometimes.
Grain.
And Nikoletta, you would know that Posen, because it is the closest line of connection to Vestin Manavinyar, of all of the Eisner cities, it is the one that has the fewest supply problems. but it's kind of an island unto itself. Once you leave the walls of Posen, then Eisen becomes Eisen. So,
where we are going there's not really much need. It's a fairly strong city port, but it's bringing things further into Eisen, closer to Castle von Richter, maybe. We often have problems with our farming fields, seeing as how they keep getting burned. Hordes of undead tend to get all over the place.
How far will it be from there to where we are going?
Storyteller?
So you would know from time you spent poring over the maps. You're, depending on weather, probably looking at a week to a week and a half getting there, getting to Posen. And then from Posen, probably another 3 to 4 days of river travel to Freiburg, and then a day overland to the Castle von Richter. That's if everything goes entirely according to plan, but this involves traveling through the Maw, which can have some pretty interesting weather. And
4 days in Zombieland? Four days in Zombieland?
Roughly a total of 2 weeks travel if everything goes absolutely right.
If.
Well, we do have...
That's like, you know what I mean.
We do have a crew here who can aid us and be our guards. Right, Bob?
Bob kind of looks like, I'm assuming you're going to want us to continue trading while we're between Posen, Vest, and Menavignard. That's where we will do our best work.
We do need to have our resources ample. So having wealth,
Oh.
having our ship gain wealth is useful.
This is actually a fairly good point. While we are there, we don't need to bother with any product. Get there and offer to perform services as transportation. There's bound to be ships all up and down the ports that are down for either repairs or for maintenance or some such nonsense. Offer the use of the ship. Yeah.
And it's Eisen, so there will almost certainly be refugees fleeing to Vest and Menavignard. Genius, Nikoletta! Genius!
You and me are going to have a very long talk one of these days, Arnau.
When she throws you overboard, I'm not coming to get you.
I'm just saying.
Arnau, you would know that the Vendel League's position on Posen is business as usual. Like, does it occasionally get zombie attacks? Sure, but the walls are strong. And it is like zombies are a risk trading there, but no more so than pirates in any other port. So the closeness for the league, relations are good there.
Arnau is mostly saying it as a joke, though it's not untrue. There are definitely refugees fleeing.
Probably not from Posen.
Oh.
Because if you're in Posen, it's because Posen is relatively well defended. So anyone who was going to leave Eisen left a long time ago.
Yeah.
Eisen has been like this for at least 2 decades now.
Yeah.
She knows he's joking. She's joking deadpan right back. That's all.
So,
Then
if you want me to just do whatever we can find close and you're not particularly picky, I can, now that we're back in Montaigne, we can pick up some decent wines if you just want it for the trip. And good wine sells anywhere, so...
we probably need plenty of supplies to last us, as we're going to be on the road for a while. So definitely enough food and provisions.
And
Oh,
I can help you selling some of the ale to attempt to make a little bit, maybe even make a profit on the wine.
Nikki, is there anything supplies you need before we leave Montaigne?
I was about to say yes. I will be back in just a few hours. I'm going to go retrieve a glass reliquary.
Well,
Right.
then Bob, take the day, I suppose. You know, get
Okay.
everything ready.
Any special orders for anyone?
Enough wine to kill a horse. Mordaunt is thirsty.
Very well. We will get on that. And Arnau, you would know Bob is proving to be a very able quartermaster. You will be better than him, but if Arnau is too busy or has other things going, you feel confident that he at the very least is not going to lose you money. He's not going to buy a bridge anywhere or anything like that. So
Bob, potatoes.
Yes. Potatoes. Yeah, easy enough.
Danke.
Quick clarification: vodka potatoes or potatoes for food?
Potatoes for food.
Okay.
Oh, I was thinking no, both.
Both is good.
Both.
You want to make vodka? Okay.
No, I was just asking for vodka.
Oh, if you. Okay, so
I
I'm
don't
buying
think
potatoes for food.
If this is going to work, you have to understand. we need to have a better line of communication. Alcohol always.
Yes, obviously.
Bob. Let's just assume he's not allowed to be sober.
but
Fair enough.
the problem with vodka in Montaigne is that it's going to be horrible vodka, like most of the things in Montaigne. And
Nobody
It's
drinks
going-
vodka for the taste of it.
nobody.
Are you
drinks vodka
just
for the taste.
intentionally
Yeah.
insulting all of the homelands of everyone that you travel with?
I
I'm
haven't
just trying to catch the vibe. We haven't sailed very long together.
I haven't insulted Veston yet, have I? Because of the fact that scares me.
You know, accidents happen at sea.
Accidents do happen at sea. They do. I'm aware. But you're my friend.
There aren't very many witnesses in the middle of the ocean, either.
And
Oh.
that's why
Oh.
Bob is my friend.
Also, are you interested in passengers? In case anyone's heading that way.
I don't know, Demetrius, are you interested in any passengers?
It's been a very long journey. I don't know if I have the constitution. No, I do not want passengers. We have been attacked way too many times. Way too many times. Do you want a passenger, Verity?
I like it if the ship could make some more money. I'm with Arnau, but maybe I'm not on the extort from the poor sort of level. But we could have the ship make more money. If we have the
I don't know that anyone will be headed that way.
we can let
But,
Nikoletta, sniff them or whatever.
Um,
To tell us they're going to turn into zombies.
it might. It might work. Is that how? I don't know how Hexenwork works. Is it? Do you
I
stick-
don't.
I'm not a bloodhound. What in the world? How do you people think this works?
I don't know. You seem to just get a sense.
Bob
that
raises his hand and
there's
says,
undead in the air.
you all clearly have jokes, and command crews get to have jokes. I might recommend not openly talking about Hexen work when we're about to go to Eisen openly on the docks.
That
I
Very
was
insightful.
on the ship.
We are talking very loudly, Verity.
All right.
Quite loudly.
I'm going to go do sales,
Yeah. Go,
business
do what you need
things.
to do.
You know.
Asgeir.
I'll be back
There
soon.
seems to be plenty of people who are going to prepare. How about a drink?
Absolutely.
Awesome. We're going to a bar.
Do you go to the same place where you all met Sophia last time, since you know it so well, or are you looking for something else?
It's something else.
Yeah. Trying to find somewhere weird.
Yeah.
Same
All right.
Where we haven't yet made trouble.
Okay. Muguet being, again, a trade port, it's got this weird mix of Avalon and Montaigne. It's kind of culturally both. And so there's some of the more stodgy, for lack of a better word, Avalonian places. Like, it's still bars and they still drink and they still celebrate. But it's all a little less decorated. They spent a little less on the decorations and a little more on the booze. Whereas the more Montaigne places look great, look flowery, which occasionally meant they don't have the top shelf stuff because everyone's bringing in about the same amount of money. And so there's a question of, do you want to go to a place that looks great or a place where the booze is going to be not a ton better, but a bit better?
Come, my friend. I'll show you what gets sacrificed in looks But we make up for in the good stuff.
Well, actually, hang on. It's also a Vendel port. So there would be at least one Vestin themed place.
Ah, yeah. Come, I'll show you how we do it back home.
Yes. This is what
You
I was
go in
hoping for.
And the place is built as much like a longhouse as they could manage with the space that they had. From the outside, it looks like a fairly normal building, but once you get in, it's clear they put in the effort to make this look Vestin. And they have mead. They have a much more northern aesthetic to the drink. And Asgeir and Demetrius head there. Does anyone else go with them? Does everyone go with them? What are people up to? Arnau, what you doing?
Arnau's gonna go shopping. He's gonna go because of his actual mastercraft that we have talked about. He's gonna go herb shopping to find a few things just to get himself ready, just in case he needs to do his some sneaky stuff in the future.
Okay. So
He's looking for stuff to craft poisons.
oh, gotcha. Yeah. So yeah, you're looking for an apothecary because you know that the best way to make poison is to buy stuff for medicine and screw with the dosages.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, and Nikoletta, what are you up to?
She is going to restock on her on the normal components that she can, like the herbs, pretty much. So her and Arnau probably walk a little ways together, but
Yep.
she'll also look for two mid-sized reliquaries.
Actually, in Muguet, that'll be easy enough to find. They have a lot of stuff goes back and forth. And Verity?
Traveled, got back to the boat. She would go into her cabin, change, and then go buy a gun.
Go buy a gun. All right. So we're going to start with Asgeir and Demetrius. Two of you walk into this place. It's called Allfather's Forge. And go in. There's a very stout Vestin woman behind the bar. There's a big axe that hangs just over her head in the bar, and it looks like it is not as decorative as you might want it to be. And you'll also notice it's in very easy grab range. This is a very well-behaved bar for a docks bar.
Just my kind of place. Yeah, Asgeir will stride right up.
Mhm.
Good evening, madam. Two of your finest tankards.
All right. She reaches over, puts them down, and kind of looks at you and slips into Vestin speak, and puts it down. Looking for meat or something stronger? I don't know why Irish is Vestin, but we'll run with it. It is an accent.
He will also switch into Vestin. I want to show my friend how we do it back home.
How you do it when you're with the Jarls, or how you do it when you're with the Carls?
Surprise me.
And you see she goes and grabs not only the mead, she also gets the super high strength stuff, the stuff that has been super condensed down, and pours that in. This is basically the equivalent of like one of the drinks where you take a shot and drop it into the drink and then you drain the drink.
I knew I made the right choice.
And puts them in front of both of you. Asgeir, I seem to recall you have the can't get drunk advantage.
I do.
Demetrius, do you have the can't get drunk advantage?
I do not.
All right, this is going to get interesting. The drinks are put in front of both of you.
I know what I'm about.
So Asgeir's just going to drink. Demetrius,
Yes.
I'm going to need your resolve, and I'm going to go ahead and call it your athletics. As you are powering through your...
This is That is a 1.
All right. You are not passed out, but you are
That
going
would
to
be
take.
horrible. We just started.
Yeah, but you're gonna you are gonna take 3 minor wounds worth of. Holy cow! This is the real. Whoa! Like when you first and Asgeir, you know the thing. You start drinking and you don't put down before the other one does. Asgeir drains his in one go, and about halfway in is when Demetrius realizes he's in trouble.
Oh dear. Oh my. Oh my. Oh well. Before I don't think I'll be able to speak if we keep going, but we are going to keep going. And I reach into my pouch and I pull out some steel, some Vesemiyadhar steel. I was hoping I could require. I heard you spoken that you are skilled with a forge. Could you create a type of throwing dagger, but something that can be used as a parrying blade?
He kind of looks it over like, I know just what you're looking for. Of course, we will simply need a forge, which...
In point of fact, there are several around here. How is Asgeir when he gets a project in his head?
It is that, like you talked about before we started, like when you bring a crafter a project, it's like, you've given me a gift.
So can we take these to go? Can we
She, having seen all this goes on, she laughs. She looks at Asgeir and says, if I was 20 years younger. Yes. She puts together not another big thing of booze. She's not going to let her best tankards walk out, but she is going to wrap up like some bread, particularly for Demetrius, and stuff to help out.
Yeah, do you really think? Thank you.
And you are able to go. And she actually has a place that she recommends that her son owns one of the forges, and this is kind of a slow season for him. And so if all you want is the tools and stuff and not any raw materials, he probably would just let you use it because you're from home.
Excellent.
Look at that. Look at
All
that.
right, we are going to now switch to Arnau and Nikoletta walking through the streets looking for an apothecary.
Oh no, why do you crack so many jokes about everyone's heritage? Someone is going to sock you right in your mouth one of these days. You know that.
I understand this, Nikoletta. I really do. I understand that wisdom would probably dictate that I should probably keep my mouth shut. However, I like all of you. So I'm not going to keep my mouth shut around all of you. Now, maybe I should stop poking fun at Verity, but I could tell that you were making a joke.
This is who I thought of as well, yes.
I know you can handle it. I know if I did poke fun at Asgeir, depending on how I worded the joke, he could handle it. Demetrius and Verity, I don't know as well.
Demetrius is just as likely to rib you as well as you rib him. I wouldn't worry about him. Verity, I would worry about just a little bit.
I am more concerned. I am less concerned with Verity reacting ill in the moment, and more me finding myself with a dagger in my side while I sleep.
There's wisdom there, all right. Interesting.
Around this time, the two of you find a little apothecary. And there's an older gentleman grinding away some material. Oh yeah, welcome in. Coming in.
Good evening.
Guten Abend.
Nikoletta, do you know what you're looking for?
Yes, and she pulls out her journal, and there's like this one page that she flips to in the middle that has just row after row after row after row after row. It's a small stack. She says, and on top of this, I also. Do you have any live plants?
I have a limited garden in the back, yeah.
It just doesn't need to be fancy. Just a living plant. One was a flower, preferably.
Oh, any flower.
Yeah.
Here, let me look at the list, and he's kind of going over all of it.
It's cinnamon, sage, rosemary, nutmeg. A lot of very fragrant herbs.
You're about to go sailing.
Yeah.
Typical for making the food taste a little less like ship food. And he goes around and pulls off big jars of things and starts. He gets amounts that you are particularly looking for, and kind of goes through. And he's like, "Well, now, do you want a clipping of the live plant, or do you want the full plant still alive?"
You see those two clear reliquaries behind you, the glass ones?
Yeah.
I would like to buy both of those off of you and put a whole live plant with a little bit of dirt in one of them.
Oh, you're doing science.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he pulls down the reliquaries. I've had these on this shelf for so long. And he kind of goes into the back, and he comes back out with a very simple lily, but seems to be mostly alive, and maybe a little on the dry side, part of being so close to the sea. And he brings in, he waters it a little bit, and he packages everything up and charges maybe a little more than it's worth, but not a ton.
Oh, thank you very much. Arnau, you?
Yes. I'm also doing science of a sort. Do you have any I'm trying to think of like a common medicinal herb. Do you have any sage?
Oh, yes, sage aplenty. And do you care about freshness?
No, in fact, the less fresh, the better.
Yeah. And he goes and pulls one out. Amount? How much are you looking for?
Sage specifically, a few weeks. Also on top of that, do you have any? Do you have what's a common medicinal flower?
Waterweed.
Waterweed as well.
A big shipment of that went out recently, but similar to the sage on freshness.
That would actually prefer it to be a little fresher, actually.
Okay, and he goes through and he looks and pulls out a sample of probably 2-week-old harvested waterweed, and kind of puts it out for you to smell and examine. Is this sufficient? Unfortunately, this is all I have at the moment.
This will do nicely.
Okay, and he starts packaging it up for you.
Now, I don't know. Chandler does not know a lot about poison making, and also he's talking to. Oh dear.
When are we all meeting for Gen Con? Anyway.
Now I'm caught off guard.
What do you want to know?
What would be a good common medicinal flower that Arnau could be looking to buy that he could easily transition into a poison?
Belladonna got named, and honestly, yes.
Okay. And Belladonna.
No, yes. Here we go. With the fruit or no?
Yes. The fruit as well.
And he brings essentially a tomato plant too.
Lovely, 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 lovely. Oh yes, because tomato. Oh, I remember tomato. I remember why they thought tomatoes were poisonous. That's the thing that's in my mind. Okay, yes. Lovely. Thank you so much. He puts down like a sack of gold.
You have paid me too much here. And he like pushes 2 silvers back towards you. That's better.
Keep the change. I was never here.
I just need to feel this much less guilty.
All right, we're going to jump over to Verity. You have packed your stuff up. Is there anything in particular you're looking to get up to the boat, or do you want to go straight to pistol buy?
Unless there's anything amiss in her cabin or on the boat since its return that would catch her eye. She has
looking around, it doesn't look like it looks like they kept out of the command crew chambers that you all had set up. The crew was typically using the more normal crew quarters down below. And so your room is basically the way you left it. And looking around, some stuff might have shifted. It's hard to tell if that was just like, was there a bad storm at sea or something like that? But what is your notice of 1?
Yeah. I earned that 1.
Again, some stuff has shifted, but it doesn't look like it was done with intention, and nothing has exploded since walking in here.
But then, yeah, she would just change from the travel and go in search of a respectable place to peruse.
There is firearms.
Fantasy firearms of the age.
Okay. So you walk into an armory, basically, that has a lot of options, swords, daggers, and a wall that is dedicated to firearms, which are somewhat newfangled. But being in Montaigne, they've got the musketeers here. Montaigne is a bit proud of the firearms that they produce. And so on average, firearms in Montaigne are going to be better than pretty much anywhere else, with the possible exception of Vestin Menavignar or the Samartian Commonwealth.
Well, she changed into something muted toned, and she definitely went up with the hood. Even though just the likelihood of running into anyone attached to her family, she's still just being like super cautious.
She thought that the last time she was in this town, and she's thinking,
fuck Montaigne. My family's everywhere.
So you walk in, and the salesman steps up and is like, ma'am, what are you looking for today?
Bonsoir. I am looking for a weapon that would be easily obscured by my skirt, but still quite accurate.
You're looking for something ranged. Would you... He kind of looks a bit awkwardly. What sort of skirts would you normally be wearing for the obscuring? Are we talking the big...
She'd open the cape and show that she's wearing a more like travel layered skirt, and she'd be like, about another 6 inches wider than this at most.
But then we have a few options here. And he would take you around. He's like, we have a few crossbows. They could be kept in your skirts, but you would want them collapsed, and so you wouldn't be able to just draw and fire. You would have to draw and get them going. If you're looking for something particularly subtle, though, he takes you down to one section where you see a bunch of smaller pistols that they are not as bulky and probably a bit less accurate than, say, what the musketeers carry, but they are smaller, still fire bullets, and would be very easy to conceal. And flintlock, just like anything else.
How accurate is the crossbow?
More accurate than any of the pistols, but and quiet. But as I said, it takes a little time to crank up, and if you're carrying it in a hidden mode.
Oh, do not worry. It would not be my first choice. Show me your most discreet.
The most discreet of my crossbows. And he goes to the back, looks around, and is like, I actually have something that you might be interested in. And he goes into the back and he's like, this is something I've been working on. And he brings out and shows you, and it actually is designed to attach underneath your arm. And he's like, you pull this lever here and it extends the bows, and then with a tap here, it fires the shot. Until you activate it, unless someone is looking up your sleeves, no way to know it is there. Once the bow has popped out, it'll be fairly obvious.
It is intriguing. Have you?
It does take a little bit of practice to get used to shooting it, though. It doesn't aim quite exactly the same as a pistol, and so for some people, there's a tendency to shoot low.
Well, I have not become very acquainted with any firearm, so I'll be getting to know it and my aim at the same time.
Okay. And he's like, so will it be this, or would you like to look at anything else? Oh, I do actually have a bow range in the back if you would like to try it.
Yes. Thank you. Merci.
And he shows you how to attach it to your arm and how it straps on very similarly to a bracer. And as you're looking at it and kind of getting the feel for it, he does say, I will say, because this is bespoke, so to say, not a lot of people know how to work on it, and durability might be a problem if it sees a lot of action.
Do not worry. I will not be using it very often.
Okay. And he steps back and allows you to take a shot, if you like.
She'd mess with her sleeve since she's cleared it away to put the device on, and she would be very concerned for a moment before trying to take aim, and
Okay.
I don't know, looking like Spider-Man trying to shoot a web for the first time. Just like,
Yeah. So go ahead and give me your first off, give me your finesse and weaponry. Everybody needs some.
I knew there was something I forgot. I forgot to grab my dice. There we go. Oh, and one extra because it's the first time.
Flare.
1, 2, 3, 4.
4 raises. All wounds mitigated. You're not familiar with the weapon itself, but you are familiar with weapons, and so there's no risk of you hurting yourself when the bow extends or accidentally shooting your hand when fires. You know to look where pointy things are going and make sure you're not in the way. Now to see how well your shot goes, give me your finesse aim.
Well, at least I get an extra dice. It's just finesse. She never made being bad look so good. Oh. Okay. 1, 2, 3.
3. Any leftover dice that weren't able to go into a...
Yes, there was one. It was.
Would you like to sell it?
Well, I start with 2, so I'm not really the target audience here.
Okay. All right.
You
Yeah, you...
your vault tech somewhere else.
3 rolls? 3 raises, you said?
Yes.
Yeah. On... wow, 3 raises on...
Well, I have 4 finesse, then an extra dice for first time rolling it. So
for 5 rolls,
I'm still rather good with weapons.
Yeah. The shot goes off and you get a good hit, and he's impressed and happy. He built this thing and he likes to see someone shooting it well.
I didn't break it.
And he comes forward and he offers you a price that is, you can tell it's fair for the weapon. You're going to be a little low on cash going forward from this. Not like you're starving low, but just this is going to be your one special purchase for a while.
I don't think she's really purchased anything all this time. She might as well.
You now have a...
You know, Eisen's just covered with a market of things she wants.
You have a wrist-mounted crossbow now. I will say, just for the mechanics of this, when you fire at someone, it is going to basically it's going to do your aim worth of wounds. So your finesse aim worth of wounds every time. It's not like it's not automatic dramatic like a pistol, but it does have the edge of it is not useless against the undead like a pistol would be. And stuff like that.
I wanted it.
Okay. Back up to Asgeir and Demetrius. You come into a forge. And the woman's son, will just say for the sake of sees you, has a forge open. He's working on something else, but his apprentices aren't in that day. And he's like, yeah, just let me know if you need any raw materials, and I'll give you a good price.
We have what we need, but thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And he would kind of set himself up, start grabbing tools and just taking that steel and just going to work on it.
All right. And what are you making?
A throwing dagger that can also be solid enough to use in a parry.
Okay. Am I correct? You have Masterpiece Crafter, right?
Yes, I do.
So give me a hero point, and you will have made a masterpiece.
You got it.
All right.
Demetrius is drinking heavily throughout the entire process.
He's doing what?
Drinking heavily.
Oh, yeah. All right. Yeah, there's booze there, and you were watching...
King, don't fall down.
And you were watching a masterwork come together. This is not like getting the balance right for throwing while also not making it completely useless for parrying is a interesting line to walk, and he's doing a good job of it. And what sort of flair is like when Asgeir is making? Is it like, what we've come to think of as dwarven weapons, where it's just super utilitarian but incredibly well made? Is it more lyrical?
No, it leans heavily into the utilitarian, but he has a flair that he always manages, and it's like this rivulet of steel that gets sunken through the middle and just kind of curves its way up the blade, even if that blade is straight edged.
It's coming together, and you are going to need a handle. What sort of material are you using for the handle?
He would probably see if he has any wood from Vesson. The cold makes the tree stronger there.
Yeah, he does in fact have some Veston ironwood. So brings it over, and actually he's like, I think I have a scrap piece that's pretty close to what you need. And so just for a silver, hands it over, and you are able to. This is going to take you a few hours. You don't rush a masterwork, but by the end of the process, Demetrius, while this is going on and you are just slamming it, what are you doing? Are you just watching? Are you taking it in? Are you bored and so you're drinking? Like, what's happening?
Oh, he's just drinking heavily because he's going back to Eisen. So,
yeah.
And so the whole time he's playing with like a marble through his fingers, nice little decorative marble, and just chugging it, and also kind of being engaged to how Asgeir is, the crafts work, because he is a master at work is definitely something worthy of, I'm locked in, and like you probably would say, so I have a problem, Asgeir. I'm pretty certain I have to tell unfortunate news to Nikoletta.
Is it something you did, or something you found out?
Found out more so, but
well, I have two answers.
Yes,
both are very valid, but it's up to you to choose which one you do.
I am all ears.
First, stand up and be honest, and earn her respect that way.
Sounds terrifying.
Second, get her drunk and try not to tell her the bad things you don't want to tell her.
I have seen Nikoletta attempt to drink. It is not a fun experience. It's
Then you face her. Even social is like a war, and we do not back down in cowardice.
of course Demetrius Penn is many things. A coward, he is not.
See, just pretend that it's one of the many husbands or brothers you've run away from, and use that panache, that bolster.
You know, I'll be honest with you. I would prefer to be running away from my husband right now.
I don't blame you. She's a little scary.
Oh, she has always been terrifying, but it's her brilliance that is the best part of her. But
Yeah.
now, I hope you understand that I'm absolutely using you to give a gift.
He have like finish off, cools it in the water, kind of slaps him on the shoulder like, I'm big, I'm not dumb.
Oh, of course not. No. I when I met you and Arnau, I knew you were the smart one of the two.
He is smart. He's simply, what is the word? And he rattles something off,
Pretentious,
investing, like,
spiteful,
impulsive.
impulsive. That's a dangerous combination when a man of that much wealth.
He was under such a thumb back in the day, and he came to Vesson and learned so much. Now he's out on adventures, learning, and having fun.
And what do you gain from it? With Verity and Alastriona, it makes sense. I understand, even with me and Nikki. But I have a hard time believing that a man such as you has not murdered Arnau a million times over. And
One day you'll understand patience the way a father does. And that's why he's still alive.
And yes. We just chat a lot, keep on drinking.
I will say there is one moment. You've been hitting it pretty hard. And Asgeir goes over to have a chat with the guy whose forge he's been working and kind of talk about, hey, where did you study this, whatever. And there's a moment, Demetrius, you look down at the dagger, which is taking its final form, and you have this impression of the sinuous line that he carved into the blade, of a sense of like frost going along it, like a light that goes along the blade to the point and then tinks, almost like a special effect. And then you kind of shake your head and nothing's there.
He just kind of sits there quietly, looks at his little keepsake marble, tucks it back in, takes another shot.
All right. Everyone, after all this, unless anyone else had anything else they wanted to get up to in town, manages to get back to the ship. And as they y'all come together, the ship is fairly well stocked. They've got a wide variety of goods. They do have a few loads of potatoes and some stuff. There's been word that, true to what Arnau was saying, there's a lot of construction that has to have happened. And so there's a lot of the hold is holding like wood and stuff like that for shipbuilding and things like that. And the Dawnlight Breeze is ready to set sail, and the tides are in a good mood, according to Bob. And he steps up and is like, Captain, if you're ready. She sounds ready to sail.
Kind of like, at this point, I feel like he'd have made sure like the rest of the merry crew here was good and ready, and they didn't need to do anything before we set sail.
Mm-hmm.
And it's Jormungandr sleeps. Let's ride the waves.
And you put out into the sea. Now, we're not going to cover every moment of the sailing. Who wants onboard ship moments of seeking out someone to talk about something or other? Yeah, Demetrius wants one. Does anyone else have anything that they're going to want to do on this bit of the trip? Okay.
No. I'm here to watch my soaps.
Okay. So
You know what? Yeah, no, Verity will totally seek out Asgeir.
So Verity has a moment too. Before we get to any of those, however, Verity, the ship is now. You've been at sail for an hour or two, and you go back down to your room. You've been on the deck. You watch it go out. Are relatively certain there are no undead on board, and you go down to your room, and you see some of your baggage is open. And looking over, it looks like some of your dresses have been moved around.
Okay.
You're fairly certain you hadn't opened anything up. You got to say that shit out loud, Asgeir. You can't just put that in the chat.
Oh, my bad. I was trying them on again. I dropped a D10 doing that.
Okay. Well, she would double check the trunks that those items were in to see if anything's missing.
A couple of dresses are gone.
Okay. She would look out in the hall and see if anyone's nearby.
There is, as you're looking around, there's a little mini wardrobe type thing. Looking in the hall, there's nothing. I mean, that's not true. There's crew moving up and down, but no one looking. What's your empathy? Is there any empathy?
There is one.
Okay. With zero empathy, I was going to say that everyone looks sketchy. With one empathy, no one particularly seems to be being particularly sus as you're looking around. And around that point, you do hear a little squeaking sound from the wardrobe. Like a kind of rusty hinge opening, that kind of
stuff. I was like, first I'm robbed, then there's rats. Why are we being mean to Verity?
Like I need a reason to be mean to Verity.
There's so many. She'd throw open the wardrobe.
This time you hear a squeak. Very similar to that of a little girl. The first thing you see as you open it up is that the two missing dresses have been hung up in here. And kind of tilting behind them, you see a familiar little girl huddled in the floor and looking up at you, clearly terrified. And you recognize her. She is one of the girls that you all rescued from the island. You had thought that she, along with the other children, had either been sent back to parents or put in orphanages or stuff like that. But there she is. Yes, the little girl we've been calling Newt. I'm sorry. I wasn't expecting you to come down so soon.
Why were you hiding in the wardrobe?
I was looking at your dresses, and I remembered hearing that they do better if they're hung up. And so I was hanging them. It was hard because the wardrobe isn't very big, but still a little tall. And so I had to climb in. So I was standing on the bottom so I could lift up and reach it. And you opened the door and I panicked.
Well, you are welcome to look at my dresses. And
they're very pretty.
I am glad you think so. But you should not do so precarious a thing. You could fall. You could hurt yourself.
Well, I've been stowed away on the ship for a little while. But I thought if I could help you and the other lady, with your dresses and things, maybe I could join the crew.
Do you know how to read?
A little. I was starting to learn before the ship sank.
Well, I'm sure Baroness Nikoletta will happily help you learn to read, and I will teach you some etiquette. But perhaps we should send you to school. Do you really want to live your life on a ship?
I tried going to the school Miss Nikoletta put us in, and it wasn't very fun. I thought it would be better if I could travel with you all.
Well, I will discuss it with Miss Nikoletta, but maybe we don't just scurry around hiding on ships. Everyone will have to know you're here, including Mr. Bob, who I'm sure knew you were here.
I did keep finding some food left out. I was worried you all would just tell me I had to go.
We will discuss it with those who get a vote.
Thank you. Not being mad.
She's gonna help her out of the armoire now.
Yeah, she climbs out and is a very little girl after one of the first big growth spurts, all kinds of gangly, all limbs, and probably 10 to 12 years old. That range.
You might end up being quite tall.
I hope so. I'd be able to reach your dresses better.
I don't hope for you to be putting clothes away forever. I think there are better things for you to do with your time. Now come. The rest of the crew needs to know that you're underfoot.
Is the big bearded man with you?
Yes. He is the captain.
He seemed safe.
He knows how to sail this ship.
Boat ship?
No, call it a ship.
Okay. Okay.
I'm sure he'll be happy you're here.
Do you need anything? My big sister used to be a maid in a lady's house, and I got to watch her work sometimes, so I think I know what to do.
Let us first find somewhere for you to sleep, make sure that you get a proper meal, and inform everyone you are here.
All right. Verity walks out where we'll say folks have just sort of happened to kind of congregate on the deck as Asgeir. Not every captain is always sailing the ship, and you do have people who are capable of stealing. But is Asgeir, no, I will be holding the wheel type captain, or
if he's awake and able to, he's at the helm.
Okay, that's the fun part anyway. And so you are.
We don't sit behind it, just BS.
And all of you just kind of want to run and see as Verity comes above decks with this little girl with very kind of dirty blonde hair hanging down halfway on her back. Nikoletta, you definitely recognize her. She was the one who almost choked you out as you were trying to evade the caldera.
Verity. What is it?
This is known as a child. It's what we look like before we grow up.
Verity, she kind of pulls her aside. I understand that. With everything that we have been going through for the past couple of weeks, do we need to have a child underfoot?
I did not bring her on board. I found her.
Looking at the little girl. How did you get here?
Verity's gonna look around for Bob. As soon as Nicoletta's how did you get here? She's gonna be and where is the one who is most likely leaving out food?
Bob comes up from above decks and sees her and goes, Right. The little girl looks at Nikoletta and says, the other kids like the school, but I thought it would be better to be with you all.
But why?
You saved us. Who else would be
Oh.
safer?
She kind of puts her hand on top of her head, just stands up straight, looks at Verity, and goes, "This is a terrible idea. We do not need to have her here. You need to go wait in my room. There is an arithmetic book. Go look at it."
She doesn't know how to read.
I can read a little.
You do know how to read it. No, now you're going to learn. And she goes walking back with the little girl to her room. Absolutely not.
You know, she's going to put a hyperfixation. See, there we go. Hasn't it?
How are other people reacting to there's a little girl on the deck?
I would say like that all like before Demetrius could even say anything, that all exchanged. And he's like, "Did we just adopt a little girl?"
She can't read.
Sees it.
Okay,
Clocks
so we
it.
have a little
See,
girl.
that interaction goes back to steering the boat.
You know?
Also, Asgeir,
what
this is the one who like
Legs. Let's get the puppy.
Asgeir. Also, this is the one who looked disturbingly like Ursa. There were a couple. You had a couple moments.
oh dear.
We
Arnau?
also do some
How is
sort
Arnau
of-
reacting to all this?
Okay.
Well, when the little girl came out, Arnau was actively tying off a piece of the sail because he's trying to learn how to actually sail. Because
Mhm.
Asgeir threatened him the last time he realized he couldn't sail. So he was actively tying something off, and then he saw the little girl. He got distracted for a moment, and then let go of the rope too early, and then grabbed it again as it was flying away, and now he's currently dangling in the sky because he made a mistake. And
Just based on what you described there, I'm giving you 2 minor wounds.
that's valid.
No roll needed.
Rope
Right.
burn.
Yeah.
Can we count this as a hero point for unfortunate?
Remind me how unfortunate works.
Unfortunate. My Arcana. You receive 2 hero points when you choose to fail an important task before rolling.
You know what? Sure. Go ahead.
Woo! 2 hero
Go
points.
ahead. But because you're using unfortunate, I'm giving you the full 4 minor wounds.
Even better.
This went entirely bad for you. Okay. I was giving you some credit for managing to catch it and stuff like that. But yeah, okay. All right. So little girl gets and she's surprised, like Nikoletta, very we're taking you to read right now. But those of you who kind of see as she's being taken down, particularly if you have any amount of empathy, you're going to immediately notice that the girl is very happy about this. This is I'm kidding. She realizes in this moment she's getting what she wants, and so. Is anyone having a conversation about the little girl at this point, or is she? Is everyone just like apparently that we have a little girl now and there's nothing we can do about it?
And we've adopted a child.
Do you even know her name?
Nobody's gonna yell at Verity. Nobody's gonna yell.
Listen, we haven't traveled together long, but in this short time, I feel like at least the majority of us, minus maybe Arnau, have realized we would be wasting our breath.
Yeah. So, interesting point. None of you has any recollection of this girl's name. She has not said it to any of you. No one's asked.
Nicoletta's closest.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, as we're walking into the room. All right, so you say you haven't learned how to read entirely. How much reading have you learned? What arithmetic have you? What is your name?
Oh, my name is Rebecca, but I think some people in the crew were calling me Newt, and I kind of liked it.
You enjoy that?
I think it's funny.
Newt, it is.
And she looks down, and she She looks at the book and starts like running her finger over some of the, and she's able to pick out probably what book are you having her read?
Since she said that she's having difficulty reading, Nikoletta probably pulls out a piece of paper and just writes down the alphabet, like with space next to each letter. Just copy down these for right now. We'll work on the rest of the reading later. I need to make sure you know your basics.
And she does know her alphabet, and she's able to show you that pretty quickly. But yeah, with any book Nikoletta might be carrying, she's lucky to get 1 in 5 words, but she knows the alphabet well enough to be sounding things out. Of course, some of them, also, most of Nikoletta's books are in Eisen. This girl is giving Avalonian vibes, and so she is struggling with the Eisen, definitely.
Get bilingual.
Why?
Yeah.
Why are there so many words with 20 letters?
As this is just part of Eisen. Do you have any interest in learning languages? It's easiest now when you're young.
Well, and then she kind of looks up. Well, I can say, and she goes through and she starts speaking some Castilian. She starts speaking some Montanian, and she even speaks a little Vidachan. And you recognize these were the nationalities of most of the people who were in the village.
You learn to speak all the languages of everyone you are around.
Well, if you're going to ask someone for food, it helps if you ask them in their language.
She again puts her hand on top of her head like, oh, you did not just say that. You did not just say that. Okay. And she'll start walking her through some, like, writing down some simple phrases, like, or handing her a quill and a piece of paper. Show me exactly how much it is that you do know. I understand that Eisen is, she, like, thumps this huge book closed and shoves it aside. A bit much for right now. What do you know? And she'll just start working with her at her level.
She is not at like her age's grade level or anything close to what Nikoletta would have been at that age, but she does show a certain precociousness for language, and what Nikoletta is showing her, she's picking up rather quickly. Back up on top of the boat, Bob is looking very sheepishly at Verity and the others.
Bob, something to share with the crew.
I first noticed her halfway into the first crossing. She'd been in the village, and she just... I knew, I'm sorry, you weren't there to ask, and so I left out food for her, and I hoped when we put into Carleon that she would maybe go find her parents. She just had been too afraid to say, but she was around, so I didn't really know what to do with her. I just made sure she had food to eat. And
to be honest, it is understandable.
I mean, I think there were worse things you could have done, and it was very admirable to do what you did.
Are you still hanging from the...
in my opinion!
He's yelling it. That's what I was going to say. It's like he's just like, I think.
At this point... At this point, Arnau has probably been flung almost off the side of the boat, but he managed to grab onto the side and pull himself up by now.
Okay.
Just barely. I think what you did was very admirable, and also, ow.
Oh, do you need some salve for that, sir?
No. I bought some medicinal herbs a little bit ago. I'll be fine.
Okay. So yeah. Obviously, if she's a problem, we can put her. Find somewhere for her. I mean, probably Posen won't be the best for a young.
No, of course.
We are absolutely not leaving that girl in Posen. No. And nowhere, not there. No.
Okay. And if I mean, Miss Nikoletta seems somewhat taken with her, and she's a clever girl. You only had to, in the village. We only had to ever show her anything once, and she.
It is all right. Whether
You
or not
did
it
the
was
right
going to
thing.
be our responsibility was not in question.
Okay.
I'm sure Asgard would be happy to have a little bit of a scullery in the kitchens, keep things cleaner, keep the rats away.
Sure, of course. But when we get to Ice, she will have to stay with the crew. As he gestures to Bob and
Oh yeah, and Bob's like, "Oh, absolutely." She obviously doesn't show great desire to leave the ship, and so long as we show that it's a bad idea for her to travel with you all, I can keep her aboard. We can certainly use a scullery in the kitchens and whatever else. And I mean, she's definitely not afraid of work.
well, make sure there's some education with the work.
He gets a little bit of a faraway look. He's like, I mean, I can show her how to do like ship ledgers and stuff. I've got some arithmetic.
There's many. She's young. I'm sure everyone can teach her something.
Self-defense.
That's what I was thinking. We can teach her how to fight.
Yes.
Yeah.
What? No.
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 You're never too young to become a duelist.
I will have you know that she will be a lady before long.
And it's always good to be able to remove a few fingers from somebody who is going to lay their hands on you.
You know,
I'm just saying.
as some look, not to say anything wrong about being capable of fighting. Now, of course, you have to defend yourself, but that also sets a path. We teach her how to be. You teach her to handle and play. You teach her how to fire her arm. She's going to find someone to do that with. Wouldn't it be safer to just teach her how to sail a boat, to cook, something that doesn't require you to wish?
I could have her sailing this boat better than you are now within a week.
You could have anyone sailing this boat better than me, Asgeir, within
You know what?
moments.
You're right. Where's Mordaunt?
He's in.
Interesting point. Did the party bring horses?
We're going to be on a
Mordaunt-
river boat.
We only have one horse on this boat every time.
Did you bring Mordaunt along? That's
Well,
entirely
yes.
up to you.
Everywhere
Okay.
Arnau goes, Mordaunt is sure to go.
Of course.
Little Bo Peep had a lamb. Arnau has Mordaunt.
And with that, we're going to kind of move forward a little bit. Demetrius, you had a thing that you wanted to do. So,
Yeah.
what time of day would he do this, and how would he go about his plan?
He would probably find a good time where Nikoletta was alone. Probably just one of her moments when she's just deep into a book, but there's a level of privacy.
How intensely has Nikoletta been going about Newt's education? Like,
past like an hour or two, given her age and how little education she's received up until now, and she made a statement about not particularly caring for the education before. She thinks, all right, 1 or 2 hours. That's enough for right now. We have plenty of time. Don't worry about it.
interestingly enough, Newt is devouring everything you give her.
Oh.
She is clearly smart as a whip.
Oh.
And you get the impression that what she didn't like about the school where she was is they were teaching her things like, this is how you do laundry for a whole lot of rich lords and stuff like that. Like,
There was
teaching her to read, teaching her math. She's just like, boom, 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 boom.
There's most certainly a moment where Nikoletta goes, I don't understand why they bother calling that an education. It's not a first name. All right, look, Newt. When you want to learn things, yeah, especially a lot of things all at once, it's best to take them in small bites. So you get a big chunk like we've gotten these past few hours, and then you go work out some energy, go play, go learn ropes from Asgeir.
Can I?
Go, have fun, be careful.
And she dashes out. And you're able now to get to some of your own study, and it's probably a little bit after that there is a knock at your door.
she's like setting up the reliquaries, and she doesn't even bother looking with them. It's just, it's open. It better not be you again, Newt.
And I enter in and I
Demetrius.
close the door. How you doing, Nikki?
That little girl, Newt, I learned she wants to be called, that someone apparently started calling her, and she fell in love with it. She is really quite intelligent for a young girl.
Oh, that sounds dangerous.
It's only dangerous if it is not given direction.
Oh, then she's in good hands.
You seem to have much more confidence in me than I do in myself. What is wrong? Not normally you come to see me in my room. Is everything all right?
You remember that time, last time we were on the boat, and I said I had the vision of us being attacked?
Yeah, and you left out the rest of it. You act as though I don't know, and I don't say anything out of respect for you, thinking you'll tell me at some point. Is this that point?
You know, so every so often, you're very smart, all right? And maybe I'm just a little unsure how you're going to take this information. So when that vision, it was Sarah in the vision.
Sarah?
Yeah.
She...
Saw her on the boat, and she warned me. I thought, first time, bad dream, right? And didn't think. And then it happened again. We were fighting that Titan. And I heard Sarah tell me to put blood on my blade. And then all of a sudden, I was able to do more in that fight.
She did always truly like you, I suppose. Well,
The
I guess
feeling was, however, the other night it happened again. And this time was more of a conversation. She's saying that she ain't dead. And whatever, and let me be very clear. I am not entirely certain that this is actually Sarah. It feels like Sarah. Talks like her. I feel like she's back. But we've been getting fucked with way too much. And then all of a sudden, I'm getting visions of someone I long for, telling me exactly what I need, exactly what I have to do to survive. I know I don't really talk a lot about what I used to do before I started working for your father. But playing people is something I know how to do.
Demetrius, this might come as a surprise to you. That's not surprising.
I did it for... Yeah, people usually end up dead after I did it, though. Working for your family is perhaps the nicest thing I've ever done in my entire life. So I don't trust easily. And even though it does feel like Sarah, I don't know if it really is her. But I do know someone is communicating with us. And I believe we're being played.
You see throughout the course of this conversation, she starts to tear up just like a little bit. She doesn't like start sniffling or tears falling or anything. No, just tears welling up for a moment. And she, well, I trust your judgment. If you're not certain it's Sarah's and you spent not as much time as I have with her, but a fair amount. You knew her as well as I did.
Yeah.
Did she say anything about? You said she might not be dead. Where is she then? Has she said?
I believe she said she was underground. Didn't seem like she was in our family home. I asked her. Said by a statue. when I asked her to kind of feel around for the area. And I want to say, and correct me if I'm wrong, DM, mistress is the statue. She kept on saying mistress. I don't know, reference to that.
Mistress.
That brings nothing to mind, Nikoletta.
Okay, that's say that doesn't make any sense. If she's underground, then there's only a few places in Iceland that I know of. But with where we are going, my father's library likely has some other sort of information that we might be able to dig through. And the friend, now that I think about it, she kind of walks over, opens the bedroom door, looks one way, looks down the other, and then slams it shut. The person I said that we need to go see in Iceland is the reason that we are heading up there. I want you to know that way you don't freak out when we get there.
Well, I did just say I'm seeing your dead sister in my dream, so I don't really think there's anything you can really tell me that's really going to shock me at this point.
Oh yeah, you're talking about visions. I'm talking about my great-great-grandfather. My great-great-grandfather.
No, I heard that part, but
yeah, the man who taught me this, and she holds up the creepy, nasty notebook, puts it down. His name was Otto. He was disgusting little man. He attempted to be quite honest, I'm not entirely certain what he had planned for me, but he tried raising one of my ancestors, my great-great-grandfather, to do his dirty work, and Otto didn't count on the fact that when you are von Richter, you are von Richter. So, there will be a corpse to talk to when we get there.
Is this corpse maybe surrounded by a horde of undead that we have to fight our way through?
No. He's behind bars. It's fine. Well, he might still be there. I hope he's still there. Oh, I hope he's still there.
I'm glad there's at least some people like you who can do this kind of stuff, because it seems like everyone else who fucks around with this usually ends up doing horrible evil.
Well, as I said, in order to cure disease, you must first study it.
All right. Now, it's another thing I need to ask you. How do you think I should give this to Verity? And I hold up above the blade in the box, and I...
Was that, bring a bottle of red wine and maybe an apology? I don't know. There seems to have always been something that you've done wrong somehow or another.
I'm supposed to apologize for something I ain't done yet?
Well, I mean, you seem like you're awful defensive, so...
I think I've been pretty... if anything, I think I have been incredibly, sophisticated around Verity.
You have been very sophisticated. I didn't say you weren't sophisticated. I said that you've done something that required apology because she gets snappier when she's upset.
Yeah, honestly, I thought that's how she always talks. That's usually how she talks to me. So I honestly thought that was just kind of standard.
I am no great scholar on the matters of the heart. You know this.
Yeah. Speaking of matters on the heart.
What?
Feel like you got a little chummy with that muscatari over there back at
Was Edmond? Well,
Oh, Edmond.
But this is his name. What?
You had but it was, you put it like a song, like Edmond. You had like a little bit of a whisk.
He's
there.
Montaigne. This is how you pronounce his name. What?
It's I'm. What's going on there? What's going on there? Because I know everyone during that gala knew what he wanted.
Demetrius, not every gentleman out there is like you.
Actually, every gentleman out there is exactly like me, and that's something you need to understand. Listen, sweetheart. Sweetheart. Look, I'm just trying to be real with you. I love you. You're like my little sister, and I will do anything for you. You can't trust him. Can't trust
Why
any of
don't you like him? What is so wrong with him?
you can't. Look, when someone gives you a pretty package, and they like, hey, it got frivolous. Like it reminds me of one time when I was growing up, there was a guy on the corner. He always had the best jewelry. He always the guy was like, oh, he has the best shine, the best everything where it wanted to be. Second you got home, turned you green. It was, and I don't want you thinking that because he's a muscatare, they all cool and suave. You know what, Paul? How do we know he doesn't kick kittens? How we know he ain't?
It wasn't even him that gave me the dress. It was Henri.
Oh, so his homie is also so the guy who's with him is also helping him out. All right. Let me ask you something, Nikki. Let me just ask you something. If Edmund was here right now, would you be happy? God damn it, Nikki.
Your face has no filter. Your face has no filter.
Yes, I would. Are you happy now?
No, I'm terribly petrified.
Why don't you like him? What is wrong?
He's maybe there was a period of time I wanted to be a musketeer. Maybe there was a period of time that thought they were a good bunch.
Well, then why didn't you? You're more than capable.
Yeah. Well, like I said, was not a good guy.
It's debatable. You seem like a good guy now.
When we were on that island and with Bob, I related to him a lot. There would be more dead if I was how I was.
Demetrius, you know as well as I do, looking back, it usually only serves to trip you up in your journey forward.
You're the smartest person I know, Nikki.
And you are the bravest that I know.
That's that Edmund talking. Don't try to swap me, trying to make me feel better about all this.
Oh no, that was a compliment on Verity's part, because any man that is brave enough to try to romance that woman, she's beautiful, she's terrifying. That's impressive.
The terrifying part is kind of the charm. I ain't gonna lie.
And you ribbed me about Edmund.
That is actually quite fair. Sorry.
There's no need to apologize. It's like you said, you are much like a brother to me. I only ever knew Sarah growing up, and it has been a privilege getting to know you.
And he kind of just poked you in the nose and like, right back at you, sis. And I'll leave the room with my box in hand.
Mm-hmm. As you step out, Nikoletta, having heard all that about Sarah, what is going through Nikki's head?
Having heard all that about Sarah, she shuts the door. She walks over to sit at the little bench that she has set up for like the reliquaries and whatnot. She pulls open a journal, and for a couple of seconds, she sits there looking over her notes and writing a few more, and then drops the quill, closes the notebook, and just rests her head in her hands, just doing everything she can to hold in tears. And she's just staring at the black rose.
Demetrius, stepping out, there's still the part you didn't tell her.
Yep.
How do you feel about that?
Horrible. Even like when he leaves the room, he kind of double backs, thinks, even does the whole goes to knock again. And wanders off. No, she would be too willing to, she would be so quick to doing it. That's too close to death. He ain't there yet. He's not, and again, does not trust fully the
Mhm.
the voice. So he's
Fair. Verity, I believe you wanted to talk to Asgeir.
Yeah.
All right.
That was way too chilly.
Actually, real quick, we are at the 1:37 mark. Let's go ahead and call it for a break now. We'll come back in about 5 to 10, and then we will get to that. Sorry, I just suddenly noticed the time.
Squirrel.
Okay. It's clear this is going to turn into a fight. What are we doing?
I got it. I am going to spend a hero point, look at Umberto, and say, Cugino, it's time for you to kill some shit. And she's going to activate his virtue immediately.
My virtue?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wait, do you want to? Wait. I don't know anything about you yet.
Okay.
No!
What? Could you tell us what the virtue is that has been activated?
Umberto's virtue, passionate.
Damn it!
oh,
I had a 50-50 shot. God damn it.
How does passionate work precisely?
When another hero is going to take a wound, I can step in and take the dramatic wound for them to prevent their wounds.
All right. So
So basically, she just goes, your time to shine, Kujina, and just pushes him in front of her. So anything that comes for her, he's taking the hit.
I thought it was the other one. I'm sorry.
So that's Lenora.
Leonora activated Meat Shield.
The 4 that we're going to go to Lenora. Umberto, you leap in the way of, and you take them for yourself.
You actually just take a dramatic wound and then add 4.
Why are Fate Witches so feared? I don't know. Okay. Verity, when would you be looking to chat with Asgeir?
She'd try to catch him when nobody's really around, so probably in the later evening.
Okay. It's
Definitely
late.
when he most wants peace and quiet.
Okay.
Oh, knock, damn it.
Yeah, you go to the captain's cabin, and you knock, and you hear some mild swearing in Veston from.
Trudges over to the door, rips it open like, oh, Verity. Can I help you?
Bonsoir. I know this may seem very random, but it has been nagging at me, and I guess I've chosen now. Clearly, I looked inside that locket to know to give it back to you.
Come inside. And he definitely is shutting the door like, no, not anybody else is hearing this conversation. And you have questions.
Yes. Now, if you would like me to go, and you do not wish to ever speak of it, just like we don't talk about that ship that we all didn't see.
Or the zombie fish.
No,
that they
we
made.
definitely talk about zombies and stuff. We just don't talk about flying lava ships.
Okay. Glad to know where the line is.
If you would like me to be like a lava ship and fly away, I can do that.
You did ask me to toss you that one time. Is very confusing.
I just want to know if you are okay.
Yes, I'm fine.
Is this what the men of your country is like?
Not all of them, no. We're very individual, but strong like the ironwood trees. The cold toughens a man. We have calluses before we hit puberty.
Maybe you just don't understand. Do you feel anything pertaining to what discovering that means? Have you let yourself feel those things? I'm not asking if you cry. You do not have to tell me.
He pauses for a long moment. What I feel is hope that I thought died many years ago.
Well, that is good.
In that locket are my wife and daughter, who I thought dead. And he hasn't shown anyone this yet, but he pulls out this little hand-carved like bear totem on a necklace. She made this for me the night she disappeared, before they got on that ship. And then they never came back. So I either have a trail to find someone responsible and punish them, and bring justice to my family, or my wife and my little bear are still alive.
I know zombies are kind of a very worrisome thing that we are trying to deal with so that they don't spread across the earth. But we could have definitely changed directions, especially if this...
If I went looking for my wife when there was a chance to save the world, my wife would never let me hear the end of it.
Very well. But as soon as we have dealt with this, or as soon as we feel we can pick up a trail, please let us know.
I will agree to that when you and Demetrius figure some things out.
Oh, okay. That's deflecting.
No. You're going to hold me accountable, and I'm going to hold you accountable.
You wish for me to entertain dalliances with a man who is, well, as loose as... No offense.
None taken.
What are your respective notice scores? One for Verity.
I think it's
She just earned that.
one for Asgeir as well.
Okay, yeah, you don't hear anything.
I'm not saying to entertain it. Saying either admit to it, because everyone can see it. We don't have the eyes of goats. Or let him down,
Why?
because you would ask the same for anyone that had that feeling for you.
He would have to tell me himself.
I'm working on him, don't worry.
He should not have to be coaxed.
Yes, well, men, we're very simple creatures, but we're also very complex creatures. We'll run into a blazing fire to save those we care about, but admitting feelings is, well, how do they say, I'd rather fight the bear?
Why? From behind one of the chests in the room, Newt sticks her head out. No one ever came in here when they were sailing before, and so this was a pretty cozy place to sleep. No one's given me my own room yet, sorry. Have you really fought bears?
Dozens of times. Investing is common.
She gets up and comes out and is looking at this necklace that you have out and steps up. And she reaches into her pocket and she pulls out a very similar looking bear.
He kind of kneels down, completely ignoring Verity now.
Mhm.
Like, she doesn't exist. He's like, who gave this to you?
A girl who was on the island. She was a few years older than me. And when I first arrived, she was nice and she helped. I was scared, and she made this. She told me stories of a great bear spirit that used to fight with the gods, and said she'd made it before. Said the wood wasn't very good, but I always thought it was very pretty, and it's the one thing I was ever really able to hold on to.
And what was her name? Did she tell you that?
Irsa.
Did she have an older woman with her? Her mother?
No. She said, when I told her about my older sister, who didn't make it out of the wreck, she told me about her mom. That she didn't either.
And your family is gone, yes.
It was always just me and my sister. I kind
that
of remember my mom, but it was a long time ago.
simply won't do. He kind of like rustles her hair like, welcome to Clan Ironhand, not. It's not exactly Newt, but in my language, it is a nomen for the goddess of the night. And since you are so sneaky, and it almost rhymes with the name you've taken on the ship, it seems appropriate.
Not. Like I'm not Newt, really, but... And she kind of smiles at that. You looked sad when I said her name. You knew her.
Irsa is my little girl. She's my little bear.
She, not too long after she finished this for me, they took her up to the caldera. We never really knew what happened to the ones who disappeared, but when they took me, they said that we were being taken somewhere else.
Well, then we'll just have to find us somewhere else, won't we? And rescue your sister.
And she nods. I'd like to see her again. She was... Bob was always nice, and some of the others too, but she kind of looked out for me.
Of course, of course. You know who's going to look out for you now? The 5 of us, including lovely Miss Verity over there. And her soon-to-be boyfriend, Demetrius, but they won't tell each other.
She kind of looks over at Verity, kind of tilts her head thinking about Demetrius. Demetrius was the one... He was the one who protected Bob.
Yes.
She looks over at Verity. He's nice.
See? He's nice. Go ahead. Tell the kid that he's not nice. Do it, Mel. Do it.
struggle's real. He's nice.
I want you to remember, Mouse, you were the one who looked at me and said, we're keeping Newt.
Yes.
So she kind of looks around and looks like, I probably shouldn't sleep behind that treasure chest anymore, huh?
No, we're going to get you a proper bed.
Okay. And they move out into the night. Demetrius, were you going to be moving expeditiously towards Verity, or was he going to be more dealing with Sarah and then coming up with that later?
Yeah, like that wasn't like literally next
Gotcha.
to do. So
Those are two different feelings, maybe.
yeah, he needs.
I'm just saying.
He needs a palate cleanser before.
Roller coaster, man.
Hey, sometimes guys are like, well, I'm feeling feelings tonight. I might as well feel them all at once. Get the feelings over with.
My views are low because I'll feel more.
We haven't gotten to that episode yet. So we do. Arnau, what would you be up to in this moment, or over the course of this trip? What is Arnau perusing?
So for the most part, he is trying to learn how to sail. However, it has been shown time and time again that he is not very good at it. So he's struggling a little bit. There does come a point where he is going to get fed up with it and probably go down to check on his poultices, and probably run into Nikoletta, who has her door open and is working on the rose actively.
Love it.
She's got one reliquary with the lily on one side and one reliquary with the black rose in the other. Oh no. Troubles with your herbs?
Nothing quite. They're brewing quite nicely, though they're not doing much for the significant bruising from my last stunt. What do you have going on here?
Well, there didn't seem much sense in just letting such a valuable resource die and wither away, so I've been studying this rose, and that's part of the reason why I have this lily. Tell me, how interested are you in the sciences?
Quite. I've made no small study of medicinal sciences, in the least.
Well, would you care to find out what happens when you introduce sublimate of black rose to a lily?
I would be very intrigued.
Let's see what happens then. And she'll take the distillation that she made from the black rose petals, and she'll slowly drip it onto the lily, and then put the lid back on. Now let's see what it does.
The essence of the black rose goes down, and it works its way through the water that you put in for the lily, and you can see as it gets soaked up into the roots. And this happens with flowers, this shallowly potted very quickly. And as it gets absorbed, you can see veins start working their way up the stem and out into the leaves and out into the flowers. And at first, it's very pretty. It's beautiful. This weird danger combined with innocence. That's very Eisen. One of the things about the undead has always been there's never intention. They are monsters that behave in a certain way because they have no other way to be. Danger and innocence in equal measure. The ones that created them are a different story, but they themselves. And you watch, and for a second, the lily kind of holds this, and you even see it begin to form thorns, even though lilies are not typically thorned flowers. And then it's like the plant starts to crunch in on itself.
Oh.
You can see it. It's like it's very rapidly drying out. There's still plenty of water in there, but it does not seem to be pulling any of the water in.
And that leaves me to wonder. She'll make a small incision on her palm, drip that into the reliquary as well, recap it.
How do you apply the blood to the, like, is it just dripping into the water, or are you dripping it on the plant directly?
I'm dripping it on the stems directly, on the stems and the leaves.
Okay, so it goes onto the stems and works its way down. It comes to those vestigial thorns, and you can see the thorns like tapping at the blood as it drips down, but they don't seem to be able to absorb it. And you watch as the lily just inexorably dies. It's a process of probably about a half hour to an hour, and Nikoletta tries little things. What about blood like this? What if I infused it with this? At any point, does she apply hexen work?
In so much as I imagine she would probably... Let me see, which ungent could I theoretically apply to this? Where are my ungents? Where did you go? You're not that far up. Shit, yes you are. Where'd you go? There you are. I'll apply it. She sits there and looks at her hexen workbook, and she just kind of piece of shit. And she throws it across the room, very upset, just a string of ice and curses.
Arnau, do you add anything to the process?
Nikoletta, obviously we know that we've already seen from the rose that it's almost a vampiric nature to this new creature, a new species, I suppose we can say.
Yeah.
However, the transformation, looking at the lily at least, seems to be taking on it seems to have a relatively short half-life. But I would like to posit a theory. What if it's not the idea that the lily can't handle it, but the fact that the lily in its transformation needs some sort of outside interference to make it certain that it's not going to die? Have you tried making it nutrient water? Or bathing it directly in blood?
Not as of yet, no. This is my first specimen for this, so I suppose that would certainly be something to do. I wonder if maybe a mixture of wolfsbane, and she's like walks over to her journal and starts pulling out several of the herbs that she purchased, grabs a few of them, throws a few into a mortar, and looks up and goes, "You're quite clever, Arnau. You surprise me occasionally. Not many people do that."
My intelligence is only half what yours is, von Richter. But, like I said, I've made no small study, and my father would not have it if I couldn't understand, my skills.
Well, I wouldn't sell yourself so short if I were you. She's silly grinding.
Eventually, the plant dies. For whatever reason, the lily does not seem to be able to support the transformation. You can clearly tell it transformed, but it was not stable. And eventually it passed. However, you are able to remove a couple of pieces of the lily that you think you might be able to plant. Obviously, that'll take a while to grow, but some of the seed that it had seems to still be intact.
And she'll save several of those into a paper bag while she starts getting ready to prepare a proper bed for it, as per Arnau's suggestion.
It seems as if Perhaps the second generation is going to be more stable than the first.
Well, it's entirely plausible that, as you said, it might need a more, what is a gentle way to put this, nutrient-dense base.
I don't think we'll be able to get or maintain enough blood in order to be able to keep something like that alive.
Oh, that's easy enough. There's plenty of fish in the sea.
I hope you're speaking of actual fish.
Of course. What else would I be speaking of?
I'm not even going to give you the idea.
Everyone gets so worried about the hexen worker. Who's the boogie lady? Ooh.
I'm not concerned about you because you're a hexen worker. I'm concerned about you because you're a scholar, and that is more concerning.
Oh, you're one of those smart people. No.
If there is one thing that the Vatican Church taught me that has stuck with me, it's that sometimes scholars can take things just a tad bit too far.
I don't. You sound like my sister.
I say that myself as a scholar who actively makes medicine.
Medicine. Yes, that is what Belladonna, Monkshood, and Oleander are all bought for.
Belladonna has medicinal properties, I'm certain you're aware.
In very minute doses. You bought 3 bunches.
My father taught me a certain particular set of skills.
Skills that he acquired over a very long career.
Yes. Even the Grand Lords need their spy masters.
This is true. All right.
Interestingly, as you're hearing about the Castilian and like scholars can be dangerous and stuff like that, Nikoletta might think of a particular patch she got shown in a previous encounter, but whether or not that actually triggers for her, we'll move on. The ship continues traveling. It is now circled northeast around the Bend of Montaigne and is now traveling into the Maw. And the Maw is very aptly named. It is a wild area of the sea. When Eisen had an active navy, this was the bit of sea that made everyone say you'd be crazy to fight the Eiseners at sea because they're crazy enough to patrol the Maw. And the ship is doing all right with it. The cold is blowing up, the wind is blowing up. Asgeir, just to keep track of how we all are doing here, I'm going to need. How does Asgeir go about? You're the only one making this roll because you actually. Well, Arnau, if you want to continue working on your sea craft, you can be a part of this too. But how are you getting your crew through this? Because this is very much a trial by fire. Like, hey, we just brought you all together. First, we sent you across the bay. Now we're going into the Maw.
Yeah, so he's obviously at the head of this, kind of barking things when they're falling short.
Mm-hmm.
Knowing that Bob has kind of brought them in, but they probably need some fine tuning.
Mm-hmm.
So often it's like, Bob, take the helm, and he'll go down and like, no, you don't tie it like that. You tie it like this.
Mm-hmm.
Very like, I'm not berating you, but you have to be shown how to do it right so you understand.
Mm-hmm. And you've got a crew. Everyone that Bob helped hire is a talented sailor, but they are not a crew yet. They don't have that sense of everyone knows exactly what their job is and when.
Then I know exactly. One would be morale. He would actually teach them a song called Den Grand Horizont.
All right. This sounds very much like a panache and sailing role for you.
Excellent. and it's the first time we're using panache in the game.
Yeah, I've never asked you for a panache roll before.
No. Oh, you know what? I will take that though. Yeah, that's 2.
2. On a 2, the crew is starting to take it up. A few of them know the song. And as the crew starts singing, they start going about. As you all hear the crew singing, well, first off, how is everyone doing with the ship in rough waters? Arnau, we've established you occasionally deal with seasickness. How are you holding up in all of this?
Tie. Grabs bucket. Vomit. Tie.
All right, give me your finesse and sailing.
Oh, so that's just my finesse and my flair.
Oh, finesse and flair for you, yeah. If anyone wants to...
Vomiting with flair.
Would anyone like to give me a hero point then? Anyone? No one?
Sure. Yeah.
You got 2 at the start of this session.
Well, Verity's giving you one, so add 3 to your roll.
Listen, I got 1 left, and we got like an hour left with Dan.
Haha. Okay, so I needed it. Okay, so I can use that 1, thank God. Okay, that is 3 raises.
3 raises. All of a sudden, Asgeir, Arnau, it kind of clicks for you. Like, at one moment, you're like, this is stupid. Why can't I do this? Like, why doesn't the ship just stay still so I can get the rope tied and blah, 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 blah. And then all of a sudden, it's like you figure it out. And you're tying the ropes, and they're staying put the way Asgeir showed you. And he's grabbing, and he's doing the tug, and he's moving around, and you are doing well. And Asgeir, you note that all of a sudden, Arnau, he's, not a slick old sea dog, but he's coming along.
We can learn after all.
Yeah, and it's tugging and going, and the ship, as the crew starts singing along and tugging on the ropes along with the beat of the song, because that's the role of songs in this. It's to give a beat for the crew to do what they do, so the ship moves as one instead of a whole bunch of disparate parts happening all over the place. And suddenly, even though it's still the seas of the Maw, the ship is now cutting through it better. And because of those 2 good rolls, I'm not going to ask anyone else for finesse rolls to avoid headbutting the ship again. So, and you are cutting clearly and cleanly through the water, and you're to a point of some peace. Demetrius, when is it on this trip you're going to want to do the thing? You don't have to. I'm just asking.
If there's time, because I imagine that would take some time for dialogue and whatnot, but so I don't want to, take that last minute in the last 30 minutes, unless there's, that is always something I can hang for next session.
Okay. So, all right. So if you're going to sit on that, you are now relatively certain, Asgeir, that you are coming up on Posen. You don't go too close to the Eisen Coast because it's the Eisen Coast. So you're moving around, your things are going good, and then Bob is taking a turn up in the crow's nest. He's easily your most experienced sailor, and so he kind of does a bunch of pieces just sort of around to kind of help fill in wherever he's needed. And all of a sudden he shouts, "Sail ho!"
Land!
And he points down and he's like, "Do east northeast, sir."
Start spinning that way. Kind of start to angle towards it.
Mm-hmm.
We're still keeping our distance from that shoreline.
Mm-hmm. Are you going to try to get a look at the sails? Try to see it through the spyglass?
Nah.
Nah. Okay. For a while, you're still doing it, and you're trying to make sure that you can't get pincered between the land and this boat. But after about an hour of sailing, it is clear it is marking you. You're not sure if it's on a full-on intercept course yet, but it definitely is curious about you and which way you're going. And after about that hour, anyone who's keeping a look would be able to see that it appears to be flying user in colors. And Ryan, Asgeir, you would know the user in Navy is all but non-existent. They have boats. They are almost exclusively privateer.
Oh, that's a problem. He would kind of call Bob down. Here, take the helm. We have a problem. I'll be right back.
Aye, sir.
And he will go and actually fetch the others.
Mm-hmm.
I need you guys to get dressed. I need you at the ready. We might have a problem.
Asgeir, when you say we have a problem, you make me incredibly nervous because what kind of problem?
User in colors.
Yes,
Arnau would also be fully aware user in flag almost always means pirate. Well, privateer.
Same thing.
That's just common knowledge in the Vendel League.
Do we need to fly? I don't know. Do we need to fly Montanian colors or something? To fly Verities.
They won't
flag.
care. They
and just for the record, you are currently flying Castilian colors because that was the nation that Arnau was able to get the ship registered under.
What we do need to do is prepare to repel them.
Do we have
They will
cannon?
follow us.
You do have cannons, but it's clear that this is a bigger ship. Straight shot to straight shot, that ship will win.
If we're dumb about it.
Yeah, obviously.
The best chance is to come up along her side to where we can take this man to man. If we take it boat to boat, we won't last.
I mean, we could just charge them ramming speed, and then maybe they'll think we're crazy and pull away, and then we shoot them with cannons.
That is fairly ill-advised. I do not think the frame of this ship is going to take on that one and still be able to carry us anywhere.
The point
All
is
right.
they think we're crazy.
So as they are closing in, Asgeir, you have a couple potential approaches. You can close the distance as fast as possible in order to board them before they have an opportunity to shoot, and let your probably superior swords people handle it in a straight fight. The waters around here are crazy, and user-in sailors tend not to be very good at it because, again, there is no navy. It's just privateers doing what privateers do, and they're definitely deadly, but they're not the best sailors, and so you could maybe use the waters of the Maw against them. You've been sailing these waters for years and years and years. And so try to outsail them because your ship will be faster. They're bigger, you're faster. That said, it's hard to outrun cannons. And
that's cannons got reach.
So there's close the distance and fight, or there's outmaneuver them in the waves and turn the sea into your ally.
I wonder if there's some kind of universally non-Hexenwerk thing that we could turn into a flag.
That would petrify everyone.
His vote goes to the confidence of his allies to take care of these people.
I mean, come on, of course. Was there any other way?
So, yeah, he's going to try to close that distance as
Okay.
quickly as he can.
All right, so
Put my help. I can do it. I'll fight them.
all right, so this is going to be from Asgeir. This is going to be because you're going for speed, finesse, and sailing.
Ooh, we like that. We like that. There's a pair of 10s off the bat.
Nice.
6 in the phone. I got 3.
Okay. With 3, all of a sudden you grab the wheel and
Oh, I'm
spin
sorry.
it.
That's 4.
4.
Because
All
I got a
right.
pair of 10s, so that's 2, and then
Nice.
2 more pairs.
Any left over?
I have 1 left over.
You want to sell it?
No, I don't.
Okay. I offer. So the ship makes its turn. And it's very similar to they're maneuvering into attack position, or you're walking along and a small, somewhat cute dog suddenly decides it has beef. And and at first you can tell they're not entirely sure what's happening here. Like, they had you marked for traders who had gotten out of their local waters and as an easy mark. And the fact that you just so immediately go into combat preparation and move in. The crew is moving around. They're getting the guns ready. Again, it's going to take a few salvos to get it, but they know it's probably not going to happen unless the other ship tries something. The other ship is, in fact, going to try something. I'm spending one of my villain points as they let off a shot intended to do primarily sail damage to get you all slowed down, to give them to kind of take away. But so this is going to be a risk of a full 5 minor wounds to the boat. Asgeir, how do you go about trying to evade that damage?
He's going to basically finesse his way of turning the helm just enough to cut the angle off so that the cannonball goes sailing off in just open water.
All right, wits and sailing.
Sailing.
I spend a hero point to give Asgeir some bonus dice by basically rallying the crew as Arnau.
I'll take those extra dice. Oh, you guys are getting treated so good later. Ooh, boy. That's 5.
5. Not only do you manage to completely evade the chain balls that get launched, designed to rip sails and take out masts. Fire on them.
Uh-oh.
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 And really no reason not to.
Uh-oh.
So, but the question is, you are at the wheel. So if you give the order to fire, someone else is going to have to fire the cannons. Who would be the one on the cannon? And again, this is an opportunity gained from the risk. So it is not a trap. This is not being like, haha.
Okay.
This is an opportunity.
God, who has he seen work with a pistol? Because it's just a big pistol.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, probably be Demetrius.
All right. Demetrius, this is going to be your wits and aim.
Bet.
You don't have the muscle memory, but you do have the knowledge of firearms and some ballistics. And or warfare would also be an option.
Okay, I'll stick with wits and aim.
Okay.
I'm going to give another hero point.
Hey!
Arnau spending the hero points he earns. I'm proud of you, man. You're growing today.
Science. You did science. You were
All we had to do is no, you can't play him if he turns evil.
You learned how to tie ropes. Look at you.
I'm trying to be helpful, so that way, when I eventually do fall, it's worth.
Oh no!
When I stab you in the back later, you'll be much more devastated.
Curse your sudden but inevitable betrayal.
I'm just gonna tie him up and wear him as a backpack. Can't go evil if he can't get away.
Permanent air jail for Arnau. Just
No one expects The Spanish Inquisition. Everyone expected the Spanish Inquisition this time.
Damn, I didn't think this through.
The Inquisition comes by and said, "See, we were right about him." 6 raises.
Gee, I picked the right
I have
man.
good wits. And I have really good wits and really good aim. The 3 extra hero points, flair.
Even
and
with
I got 2 hands off the bat, and I get to re-roll them because it's an aim move.
No, yeah. You hit the
guy,
powder,
bro. You're a guy. Put me on the cannons every time.
You hit their powder stores. Boom. You all watch as this ship gets torn apart in the explosion. Kind of a 1 in a million shot. Demetrius, you can't count on doing that every time. But
immediately run up. That is right. Crew, let everyone know that Demetrius Penn sunk the
He's back.
greatest Uthran ship you have ever seen in one single shot. And as he stands on the edge, so anybody who's jumping off, if you survive, let you know that Demetrius Penn, and just shouting out. I'm taking full advantage.
And the crew cheers. They've a bunch of them. You've got the impression over the trip that Bob's been telling stories about you all, and because a big part of his, hey, you should serve aboard our crew is we are literally commanded by a bunch of heroes, and
he better not be telling them the stories in the sense of like it's Demetrius Penn and Company. I swear.
You know what?
No.
You know what?
No.
No one's ever offered another name. Eventually,
No,
it's going to get that done.
We don't. There is no.
You're going to have to watch my vignette.
That was a threat.
Watch it.
And the crew,
Exact topic.
the crew is cheering. You were even able to pick up some flotsam in the water from the ship that you took down. Some extra stuff that can be traded when you get in. And you get the impression they've been hitting a bunch of targets. Based on what you're seeing that they had, they seem to be big on pull up near a ship, threaten it, get them to hand over some goods, just to be left alone and then move on to the next thing. They were not expecting you all to attack. They were especially not expecting to get blown up in one shot. And so yeah, they're all kind of well, they're dead now. So you manage to pull ahead. No further pirate problems or anything like that. As you move in, you have Asgeir and Arnau very capably handling the ship. And in the distance, you see Posen appearing. It's going to be a little bit before the tide's right to go in, but there's a break in the weather, and Asgeir is able to steer in to a quiet part of the port. As you all are sort of celebrating this, at one point, Nikki, you would be you're looking around for Newt because you have some time to teach her another lesson, and you step up onto the deck, and you see her wearing a officer's hat that apparently she'd picked up somewhere. She has a stick in her hands, and she's waving it around, yelling, "Yes, I am the great pirate Demetrius Penn. None of you stand a chance in this battle." And with that, we are going to bring this episode to the close. Thank you so much to Basics of the Game for hosting us. Thank you to Dragon of the Dark Rose for producing us. And remember, until next time, keep playing more games.
She can
Have
aspire
fun, don't
more.